Have you ever heard of someone so smart they make geniuses like Einstein look, well, almost normal? Today, we're talking about a man whose mind operated on a completely different level, a true titan of the 20th century. John von Neumann. This isn't just a story about a brilliant scientist. It's the story of a man who shaped the modern world in ways you probably don't even realize from the computer you're using right now to the strategies that define the Cold War. So buckle up because we're about to dive into the incredible life of the last of the great polymaths. Born Neumann János Lajos in Budapest, Hungary in 1903, little Jenksy was anything but an ordinary child. His family was a wealthy, non-practicing Jewish family, and his father was a successful banker. From a very young age, Jenksy's prodigious intellect was impossible to ignore. Picture this. At just 6 years old, he could divide two 8-digit numbers in his head. While other kids were learning their ABCs, he was speaking ancient Greek and telling jokes in classical Latin. By age 8, he had mastered calculus. He and his father would exchange jokes in classical languages, and he had a photographic memory, able to recall entire pages of books he had read years earlier. His parents, recognizing his extraordinary gift, hired private tutors to nurture his mind, ensuring he received an education far beyond that of his peers. Despite his father wanting him to pursue a more practical career in business, von Neumann's passion was mathematics. They reached a compromise. He enrolled at the University of Budapest to study mathematics, but at the same time, he also enrolled at the University of Berlin and later the Swiss Federal Institute of Technology in Zurich to study chemical engineering. Think about that for a second. He was simultaneously pursuing two demanding degrees in different countries, and he didn't just pass. He excelled. He earned his Ph.D. in mathematics and a diploma in chemical engineering at the same time, in 1926, at the tender age of 22. This early period set the stage for his life's work, showcasing an incredible ability to bridge the gap between pure, abstract theory and tangible, practical application. After completing his studies, von Neumann's reputation as a brilliant young mind spread like wildfire. The United States beckoned. In 1930, he was invited to Princeton University, and in 1933, he was offered a lifetime professorship at the newly founded Institute for Advanced Study, alongside Albert Einstein. He was the youngest professor there. At Princeton, he became a legendary figure. He was known for his love of parties, his fast driving often while reading a book, and his incredible ability to solve problems on the fly. Colleagues would say you didn't understand a problem until you could explain it to Johnny von Neumann, after which he would likely solve it for you. His work in pure mathematics during this time was groundbreaking. He made fundamental contributions to set theory, functional analysis, and ergodic theory. But what truly set him apart was his ability to apply these abstract concepts to the real world. This led him to one of his most influential creations, game theory. Along with economist Oscar Morgenstern, he co-authored the book Theory of Games and Economic Behavior in 1944. This wasn't about playing chess or poker, although he was a notoriously bad poker player because he was too logical. Game theory was a revolutionary mathematical framework for analyzing strategic decision-making among rational individuals. It provided a way to understand competition and cooperation in everything from economics to politics and evolutionary biology. It changed the way we think about strategy forever. When World War II broke out, von Neumann's unique skills became invaluable to the Allied war effort. He was a key consultant on the Manhattan Project, the top-secret mission to build the atomic bomb. While others focused on the physics, von Neumann tackled the complex mathematical problems. His crucial contribution was figuring out the best way to detonate the bomb. He developed the implosion lens design, a complex arrangement of explosives that would compress the plutonium core evenly, triggering a nuclear chain reaction. His calculations were essential for the success of the Trinity test and the bombs used to end the war. This work plunged him into the heart of military and government strategy, a role he would continue for the rest of his life. The end of the war didn't slow him down. In fact, it propelled him toward his next great revolution, the modern computer. While working on the Manhattan Project, he became fascinated with the early electronic calculators being built. He realized their potential went far beyond just number crunching. In 1945, he wrote a legendary paper called The First Draft of a Report on the EDVAC. In it, he laid out the blueprint for a stored program computer. This concept, now known as the von Neumann architecture, is the fundamental design for virtually every single computer, smartphone, and digital device on the planet. The idea was simple but revolutionary. The computer should store not just data, but also the instructions, the program, in its memory. This meant you could change the computer's tasks simply by changing the program without having to physically rewire the machine. He literally invented the software-driven world we live in today. After the war, he continued to be a chief architect of American Cold War policy. As a firm believer in mutually assured destruction, or MAD, he used game theory to model nuclear conflict and advise the government on military strategy. He was a commissioner of the Atomic Energy Commission and a trusted advisor to presidents. He was a hawk arguing for a strong nuclear deterrent to keep the peace. His logical, often chillingly pragmatic approach to global strategy was both admired and feared. He saw the world as a complex system of logical moves and countermoves, a grand high-stakes game. Beyond game theory and computers, his intellect touched countless other fields. He created self-replicating automata, theoretical machines that could build copies of themselves, laying the groundwork for artificial intelligence and cellular automata. He made significant contributions to fluid dynamics, which are crucial for weather prediction. In fact, he was one of the first to use a computer to forecast the weather. His mind was a relentless engine of creation, always moving, always connecting disparate ideas into a coherent whole. Tragically, this extraordinary mind was housed in a mortal body. In 1955, von Neumann was diagnosed with bone cancer, likely caused by his exposure to radiation during his work at Los Alamos. Even as his physical health deteriorated, his mind remained sharp. He continued to work and consult from his hospital bed, surrounded by military guards due to the classified nature of his knowledge. It's said that his brother visited him and, to test his mind, asked him to recite the opening lines of A Tale of Two Cities. Johnny, even in his final days, began reciting it word for word. He passed away in 1957 at the age of 53. John von Neumann's legacy is, in a word, everything. He was a man who lived 100 years in the future. His vision of a programmable machine created the digital age. His game theory provides the tools to analyze our social and economic lives. His work on the bomb shaped geopolitics for half a century. He was a true force of nature, a mind of almost supernatural power. The world we live in today, a world of instant communication, artificial intelligence, and complex global strategy, is a world that John von Neumann helped to build. So the next time you use your computer or smartphone, take a moment to remember the man who dreamed up its fundamental architecture. Thanks for joining me on this journey through the life of a true giant. If you enjoyed this video, please give it a thumbs up, and don't forget to subscribe for more stories about the people who changed our world. See you in the next one.